Greetings everybody, it's Ville from the band called Him, and at the moment you're logged on to popularity.com.
First of all, for those who haven't yet given your music a chance, if you could tell them what song to listen to first, what song would it be and why?
That's a tough one. What we try and do with that band is to balance between like the sadder aspects of Depeche Mode and the more rock and roll aspects of, let's say, Monster Magnet or Guns N' Roses or whatever. So it's extremely tough to find one song that would have both of those things. We have a couple of songs that are a bit more well known, but they're poppier, I guess, and they don't have the whole full swing of. Well, I'd say there's a song called Ode to Solitude on the new album Screamworks Love and Theory Practice. That's pretty good because it's got really heavy duty Metallica guitar riff, and then the chorus is really melodic, and it's got these Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young 60s vocal harmonies and stuff like that. So it's got a lot of the elements what our band is all about. Maybe I'll say that, Ode to Solitude.
What were your expectations that you set for the album, and do you feel that you've met them looking back now?
Well, the expectation, I don't know, to make the album happen, I guess. To create songs that didn't feel like same old for us, which is, easier said than done. But no, it hasn't meant what I wanted. It should be bigger, and it can be way bigger. But it didn't top all the charts. It hasn't sold a gazillion copies, and nowadays records don't sell. But it's still an excuse. Lady Gaga still sells. She sells shit tons. So it's like, why can't rock and roll sell? So it's but what is a good thing about the album is that the people who like and have been liking what we do still, go for it. And the reception at gigs has been really good. People know the new songs, they sing along and they dance along, and that's a good sign. That's a nice thing for rock bands. We tour quite a bit. So, it can always go better, way better. So, but I'm a whiny bitch. That's what I do.
Would you say that your expectations for your music have changed from the beginning until now?
Well, it's got no expectations. Basically, maybe there's two levels. Maybe there's the kind of artistic, the masturbatory level of just creating your own headspace and doing melodies that make you feel free for a time being. That open up something, that you can put emotions down on tape, and that's very important. The kind of imagination land. But then again, obviously, if you want to start being a rock band, you want to be the first band playing on the moon, and you want to be huge and play whatever, big gigs and shag tons of birds. But it's like those are very, very different things. I think if you're a plumber, you still want to be a popular plumber. You want to do your plumbing really well, and you want to shag tons of birds, depending obviously on your sexual orientation. But anyway, everybody wants to be successful in what they do.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do their. Nobody wants to on purpose do a shitty job. I've never met anybody who want to do that.
How would you say that the recording process has changed over time?
Recording process. Well, it's always different with different producers. This time around, we worked with an American fella called Matt Squire, and he's the first American producer we worked with. So it was different. And he's a younger guy. He was born the same year as I was, which makes him, well, not necessarily young, but 33, 34. So we grew up listening to a lot of similar music. So, communication between us was really, really easy going. And as opposed to before, we worked with people who were a bit older. Recording process, it's a room with some recording equipment. You just go there and hope that everything works. That's what the engineers and the producers are for, to see that, the canvas is being stretched and the painting is being framed and lit accordingly.
What would you say was the most difficult about the process this time for you?
Letting go. I still haven't been able to let go. It's the first album I've really spent. I've always spent a lot of time, and a lot of energy. On a different level, I was more of like a Jim Morrison, Bartlett, Bukowski type of a guy. I was hanging out a lot in bars and getting messed up and all that. And then with this one, I wanted to approach this album with a really clear head and see how it changes the way I work. So it ended up in a situation that it was like an obsession in a way that was really tough to let go. And I'm still like trying to figure shit out, you know. So that's the thing. It can be highly addictive.
Do you feel that, I guess, kind of like you're continually getting better with each album, that each album is a step up from the last one, or do you treat them as just something completely different?
You know, like a relationship, maybe another. But you know that when you get to know that one person, you get better at it. Mm-hmm. You know the needs. You know how the system works. But yes, you do lose some of the vulnerable aspects and the you know, the kind of, you know, the virginal state. This is like, you know, stupid trying to compare it to sex, but anyway, I was trying my best. So but it does both. It gets better and it gets worse.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that the album making process, since it's, what, 7 albums now?
It's 7, yeah.
7, that over time the process of just everything, writing, recording, gets easier? Or do you think it hasn't really changed at all, its difficulty in making an album?
No, it doesn't become any easier. It's just, at the end of the day, there's a certain, you know, we're 5 friends, we like this kind of music that is a combination of all the influences that we adore. Let's say Type O Negative, Depeche Mode, the Guns N' Roses, the Cult, all those bands. Mm-hmm. That's what we do, and we try to do it as well as we can. But then there's like stuff like life happens. People get married, they got kids, they get sick, they get bored, they get tired, they get old. So there's like life is happening here, and then the band's happening here too. It's pretty hard to have them hold hands. Mm-hmm. But so it doesn't get easier, but it still does go on. So happily married, I guess, so far.
Do you find it difficult to critique each other? If something isn't quite right, to say, you know what, that isn't right, or?
No, we've always been super good because most of the guys, we grew up together more or less, so we've known each other for a long time, more than half of our lives. Mm-hmm. And the band's been here more than half of our lives. So I'm 33 now, we started here in 91. I met Miguel when I was 8 years old, mm-hmm. or 9 years old. That's crazy, Miguel being our bass player. And so it was such a huge part of our lives, the whole band, that it's obviously we know each other so well that we can, you know, basically it's commenting bodily odors as well as playing, mm-hmm. you know, so it's a combination of a lot of things. It's not just about musical mm-hmm. things.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to the readers of Popularity?
Read more. Not only popularity, but for example, popularity. Because reading is something that very few people do these days. Mm-hmm. And concentrate. And do, at least, you know, once a day, do one thing in one go for more than an hour. Everybody's like 5 minutes on the net, cup of coffee, jogging, doing everybody's so ADD these days. Listen to a Sabbath album a day. Listen to one Black Sabbath album. It's like read chapter of a Bible a day. Like this is what they said. So listen to just, you know, the A side of a Sabbath album. That calms you down and gets you ready for the day.